Hello, my name is Stephen Cook, a solution architect at DocuSign, and today I'm going to walk you through how to allow Salesforce Experience Cloud users to automatically create and sign documents in DocuSign without the need for any DocuSign account. Now, in this example, I'm a Salesforce Experience Cloud user who wants to sign a quote, and all I need to do is click this button to sign. From here, my quote is automatically generated, and I'm brought into the signing experience directly from within Salesforce. I've done this utilizing a name credential and DocuSign's Gen API endpoints to create the document and Apex Toolkit for the signing experience. To make things a little easier, I've added some sample documents and code in order to accomplish this, which is linked in the description below. Now, first step here is you'll actually want to download all of these files first. And once you've done that, you'll want to upload the template document into your Salesforce org. Take note of the content document ID. You'll use that later. Next, we'll create an Apex class that will handle pulling all of the record data, template document, and making the API call to DocuSign, returning that generated document and storing it on the record. So we'll go ahead and create a new class, call it DocuSign Gen, and paste our sample class here. Now, you'll notice there's three things you'll need to populate: the template content document ID, which is the ID of the document that you just uploaded. You can find that in the URL. Copy that, paste it in. Next is the name credentials name. And you chose this when you configured authentication to DocuSign from Salesforce. If you haven't already done this step, I've included a link in the description below. You'll want to go through those steps before continuing. And last is adding your DocuSign account ID. Now, in order to call this class from Flow, we'll actually need to create a Lightning component that you can copy and paste the sample code provided as well. We'll go in, create a new Lightning component. Call it DocuSign Gen. And just copy and paste in from the sample code. All right, so we've created our component. And next is to actually create the flow. Now this could be kicked off in any number of ways. For this, I'll show you a screen flow for testing purposes, just to make things a little easier. And really the first step we'll do is create a variable called record ID. Next, we'll add a screen here to review that the record ID is being populated into the flow correctly. Now we can call our document generation class from flow by searching for that action and populating the record ID for the source ID. Next, we'll add another screen as confirmation that the document was created, and we'll just include the newly created ID of the generated document here. At this point, we can save the flow, choose a name, and now someone without a DocuSign account can run this flow and generate documents. So here we can grab our sample opportunity record, grab that record ID, and we can do a debug in flow using that sample record ID. So here we can see that verification page. And here is that class running that's actually creating the document. Here we can see the created document ID. And if we go back to that opportunity we ran that from, here we can see that generated document. So we've completed the first step in the process. Next is to handle creating the signing transaction and bringing that person into that signing ceremony. So we'll copy the DocuSign eSign class. We'll create a new Apex class. And you really don't need to modify anything in this class. It's really ready to go here. One thing you might change is the redirect URL. There are a few ways to pass in the redirect URL, either via the Apex class or Lightning component, but in this case, we've got it hard-coded in, but it could be dynamic as well. Next, we'll want to create the Lightning component to make this class accessible from Flow. Following those same steps we went through before, copying and pasting the sample code provided. Next, we'll go back to the flow and add the eSign step. Now, if it doesn't show up when you're searching, it's because you'll need to refresh this page since you have recently created that new class in the component. You can open that flow back up choose that action, and this time, once you've refreshed, you'll be able to search and find your class component. Now for the MyContentDocID, that's going to be the output of that first step to generate the document. And for source ID, it's going to be the record ID again here. And you could add in steps after the fact as well, but in this case, I redirect out of flow, and this is kind of the robust functionality that you'll get is you'll be able to call document generation and signing directly from within flow and do a bunch of things before, do a bunch of things after, and really make it an intuitive process. And now we can test using the record ID once again. So we can see that generated document. And now when I click next, this is firing off the new eSign classes, which is creating that transaction, creating the signing URL, and eventually redirecting that person into the signing session. So now we have the flow working to create the document, bring that person into the signing session, and now we can really start adding that to our opportunity object. We can create the new action to run the flow. And this is going to allow any of your users without DocuSign accounts to generate and sign documents. And you can also add that flow into your Experience Cloud sites as well, similar to what I walked through at the start here. And that about wraps it up. Really, my last steps are just adding that button to the record. And now that button is going to be able to be clicked directly from my opportunity record to create and sign documents launched via Flow.